Hey everybody, and welcome to Freelancer. In this video, I'm going to be covering domain flipping for beginners in 2020 and just various expired domains, tools, and finders for research, for search engine optimization, things like that, to better emphasize and sell your website easier. So if you want to flip the website a lot easier, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll be doing a bunch of different videos on this subject, but this one's going to focus on the expired domains aspect. And make sure to comment below your own tips and tricks, and make sure to like this video and share it as well. All of that helps a lot, but I'm going to jump right into it here. Now, expired domains, if you're not familiar, are basically essentially recently expired domains, and as expireddomains.net puts it, thousands of domain names expire every day. The reasons are different. Some owners forget to renew the domains and so on, and they don't need it anymore. They moved on to a different project. A lot of people see this as no value, but to the opportunist, if you're looking to website flip, it's a quick means for profit. You're not going to necessarily get a whole lot of value into it. You might get a few hundred extra a week, which is better than nothing. But by just flipping the websites, there's a lot of value into it, and you can just buy the expired domain and just simply resell it. There isn't a whole lot of effort in between that. Before I get too much into it, I'm going to cover what search engine optimization is. And if you're not familiar, it's essentially a technique to make yourself rank better organically through Google, through Bing, through other search engines that are popular that you might be familiar with. If you want exposure to those domains, essentially, the better valuation there is, the better you're going to rank, and that means that the more appealing it'll be to the customer that wants to buy the said domain. Of course, there's a lot of domains that go for sale almost every day, so there's new opportunity every day. It's best almost, if you're going to do this, check this website and other basically domain finder type of websites on a day-to-day basis. And I personally like .coms. Some people like other ones. Something to personally I would recommend avoid anything with a potential brand name in it, because although this domain might be expired, you might run across a domain that has association that you can't really resell because of the brand name in it. And the other thing you want to look for is lots of backlinks, but you don't want an obscene amount of backlinks. So, for example, I wouldn't want Wikimart because it has 629,000 backlinks. That sounds like a spam domain to me. It's not something I'd be interested in, but you got banners.work.com, and this has only 138. You got a domain pop number of backlinks from different domains, which is only 18. So a lot of unique domains that are bringing a lot of value to it. And this domain is also a pretty aged domain. This is from 2013. So this domain is almost 7 years old here, coming up here into the new year. You got archive.org number of crawl results, 354. You got a very high Alexa ranking. If you're not familiar with Alexa, it just kind of ranks the value of your traffic that came into the site. And, if you simply buy the domain and then you put it back up, there was already a huge amount of traffic flowing through it. Obviously, there's no more DNS because it's offline. Got the .net, and where the domain was registered, and when it expires, which is as of today, essentially. So there's a lot of things you can look at in regards to this. The things, websites I'd avoid are ones like this that have absolutely uh, hardly any backlinks or no backlinks to it. Now, they might still have value to them. Some of them are more based on trends that might have been valuable at the time, but then they became worthless. So people all try to dump the trend type of websites, which I'll show here in just a little bit. But as you can see, some of them are unique, but the short answer is I'd avoid anything that's not .com, because outside of .com, things are kind of hard to rank outside of the standard search engines. If you're a global user, if you're not from the US, some of these other domains might be of value to you, but personally to me, I don't see any real valuation in them. And as you can see here, it's a kind of a breakdown of all the different categories here. But you can check this out on their website, which I'll link to below. And of course, this list only contains domains that will be deleted today. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a chance to snag any of these domains, but this was just a video to give you an idea of the potential for them. Of course, free sign up gives you exposure to more domains, so make sure to do that. And one of the recommendations, one of the more popular website selling areas is flippa.com. It's been around for many years. I'd say at this point over 10 plus years. There's a lot of exposure to it. As you can see, some people price their domains quite high. These are more like brands that were built up over time, so it's not them just selling the domain itself. This video focuses just on the expired domains, so you don't really need a lot of experience in it. Just need to understand that at one time when the website was up, it was bringing in a lot of traffic, and then over time, essentially, they gave up on it for whatever the reason, but the value is still there. So if you were to simply renew the domain itself has value in it. There's a lot of different categories, you can see here. I'm not going to go into too much detail about Flip. I'll cover that in another website, but you have a different kind of options here of websites you can sell. This is just going to focus on the expired domains, so the area you want to look at for to get a rough idea of the prices and things like that is you know, reserves met and ending soon areas that have bids on them to get an idea of what the people on the website are actually looking for. Keep in mind that Flippa does cost money. There is Flippa alternatives, which I'll cover in another video, but they are not as popular and you won't get as much exposure, so you might have a very hard time selling any domain on those pages. In this case, we would be focusing on the domain names that are undeveloped or parked, and that's only $10. I would say that in realistic scenarios for some of these domains, if you choose right, you might get 50 to 150 bucks within the same week and selling it really quickly, because to some people that domain, especially if they have the right niche, might be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. So they're getting a bargain, you're getting a quick profit. Now, obviously, there's a cost in between from buying the expired domain to basically reselling it. But once you have all of that set up and you can verify that you own the domain and you have basically acquired the rights to the domain that you can resell it, there's a lot of value just in that aspect alone. You don't really need to build a website out of it. You don't really need to do anything with it. You just need to highlight the factors, like I was highlighting, from Lexa's good ranking to just the backlinks associated with it, and just other little things associated. Now, when you're looking at the backlinks, if you're not familiar with the backlink, it's just a website linking back to that domain. You want to make sure that those backlinks are still valid, because although it might say that they're still indexed, you want to double check just in case before making a purchase on that domain. Some of them might have old expired backlinks, which means that the valuation of the domain is not as worth it as it might appear at first glance. These are just case studies, but this isn't necessarily in relation to just selling on the domains itself. This just gives you an idea that there's people still selling domains as of recently here in 2019. But these are more branded domains. This gives you a list of some of the kind of domains that have either about to sell or recently sold. Obviously, some don't get any bids at all, so that's a risk that you're going to take when you're doing website flipping. But if you can end up scalping, 10, 20 domains, and even if just one sells and you bought all of them for a couple bucks here and there, you're still going to turn out profit, or you're going to at least break even. Now, obviously, you're not going to get something like this one here that had recently had bids up to $75,000, and you're not going to get necessarily the higher end of things. But as you can see, some sell for more, some sell for less. Some just kind of dump them really quick and hope that they get rid of it and get some valuation out of it. You might get lucky and end up getting thousands of dollars. So it's kind of like trading on the stock market, that you might find a domain that you might not think is as valuable, but it might end up being worth way more than you expected. I always just set that when I did this, or used to do this about a year ago, I used to just set them at $100 and just hope that they sell and go from there, and then I just reduce the price over time. Long time ago when I used to use a Flippa, I don't recall it costing any money, so I guess that's maybe a fairly new thing, but I haven't used it in a very long time. So I might have been paying fees. I don't really recall. I never really did Flippa all that much because I didn't really consider it as too viable of a business for 2018, 17, so on and so forth. I was doing other ventures that were paying significantly better. This poses risk because you might end up with basically inventory that never sells, as you can see here. Some people are trying to dump domains and they're not even getting a $1 bid on them, so some others are getting some bids on them, but obviously there might be a little bit of a marketing aspect to it too. You have an obscure domain that doesn't really resonate with anyone, or it has such an obscure name to it, even with the valuation of the domain, there might be no real purpose for it other than just backlinks. So that is also something you want to consider when using Flippa. And if you want to consider Patreon support for this video and other videos like this, make sure to check out the Patreon page below. I'm not going to go too much details in that because it's not really related to the video. And I have a Discord chat if you want that has basically live traders and freelancers talking about different ventures and different things like that. You can all check it out. It's right in the description below. That'll also be linked. Appreciate you listening in, and make sure to, of course, subscribe to the video's channel, rather, and make sure to like this video and comment below your own input on Flippa and other kind of concepts of website flipping in the description. Make sure to check out all the other videos that are going to be popping up here, and the subscription button will be right here in the middle, nice and big for you guys to consider checking out. Appreciate you listening in, and make sure to check out some of the other videos. Have a nice day.